Second Nature for Children is in the house. Coach, how you doing?
As always, man, I'm great. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing absolutely great. Uh, had a great weekend. As a matter of fact, man, let me click something off right here. I don't know what it's doing. I'm on another computer. There it is. Had a great weekend, man. I was invited out. I was telling you about the young lady, Dr.
Oh
D.
yeah, yeah, man. How was that?
Hey, man, everything was beautiful, man. I was so excited to go out and have the opportunity to speak with her and, to meet her producer, the one who put the show together for us. So eventually, and hopefully real soon, I have her to come on and, we'll be able to chop it up a little bit more and kind of tie some things up that we was not able to literally get in within 30 minutes. Uh, but
Okay.
but yeah, but definitely it's called the guest room with Dr. D, man. So I want everybody to go over and make sure that they support, her podcast as well. And like I say, eventually, when she give me a shout out and a holler at, and she put up the show that we did, and I want her to put hers up first before she come on. And she come on, man, and we're gonna chop it up with her, man, and have a good time. So that was absolutely amazing. And once again, that's podcast. That's the guest room with Dr. D. So make sure that you all go out and check her out, man, and subscribe and like that, man, and share that information. But one thing I've learned about us, even with the channel here, when things are positive, we don't support each other. And that's a problem.
Mm.
Yeah, when things are positive, we don't support each other because,
Mm.
yeah, we should have 1 million subscribers already. You understand? And, Dr. D should have at least 500,000 already, if not the million with us for the positive work and the great work that she's doing. So we're going to come together and put that together. So, family, as you come into the room, make sure that you subscribe, like, and share. And coach, I want to get right to it. This is our first full week of June, so it's our challenge week. So I challenge everyone to take a challenge this week for 7 days. Something you've been procrastinating about, or something you've been putting off, and you know you need to get it going. So take this 7 days and jump on it, and get it going. But coach, I want to talk to you about who are blacks to blame for their condition today. I want to talk to you about it. There's been some other videos we've kind of chopped it up a little bit. So I just, you got anything you want to say before I get started?
Oh man, go ahead. Nah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay,
I'm good.
okay.
I'm
All
good.
right. So
Good.
let me make sure I define some things so we can all be on the same page or have the same reference for anybody trying to run off with a word and give it their own meaning to it. So when we talk about blame, we talking about it's to put the responsibility for a fault or a wrong onto someone or something that has happened negatively. That you trying to blame somebody else for something. It's to find fault with. So we'll leave that right there and we'll work with that definition. And when we're talking about condition, we're talking about the state of something with regard to its appearance, quality, or working order. So I asked the question, who's responsible for the state that you are in right now today? And I'm asking the family that. I just want you to think about that for a second. Can I look at you and see your appearance and see that you are not doing well physically just by looking at you? We don't have to even have
Mm.
we don't even have to have a conversation. I want to know if I just look at you, can I tell that you are not doing well physically? Are you going through health issues because of you? Sometimes things come on us that we have no uh I would say control of. But a lot of things that come on us, we have control of. So I asked the question, are you going through any health issues because of you? If you're not doing well physically, who do you hold accountable for your well-being? Who do you hold accountable? Do you know that if you and I have a conversation and you can share certain things with me about yourself that I can pick up, I can pick these things up that if you are not in a favorable position today in life because of your decisions that you have made, think about that. We're going to talk about who's to blame. Do you hold someone or something else responsible for the reason that you're in the place that you're in right now in life? I just want the family to think about where they are, especially if it's a place that you don't want to be in. You know, I did 22 years ministering to nothing but killers in what they consider the most notorious jail in the country. So I asked that question right now. Are you in a place that you don't want to be in? Who's to blame that you're in that place? So we're talking about the physical, so we're talking about the mind. So I want to ask you this right here. If you're not spiritually connected to the immaterial part of yourself, meaning having a relationship with that which dwells within you, and having an understanding that that relationship has nothing to do per se with religion, but it's personal. Who's to blame if you haven't made that connection? Who's to blame for that? I'm gonna let you answer that. Who's to blame? And if by now you don't know that your belief means nothing without being connected to the source that dwells within you. Do you understand that by now? If you don't know that, then I ask you, who's to blame? So, Coach, before I go any further, I just wanted to give them those three things, break those definitions down before I move further. And I want them to think about where they are in life right now, whether it's good or bad. Definitely, if it's in the negative, who's to blame? What you got to share on that, Coach?
I'm here listening to you, man, and I wish this was a forum of people around us
Mm.
where we can just say, man, you right there. Yeah, you stand up. This question is for you. You know what I mean? You
Mm.
over there, you know what I mean? And we can get the truth from people, you know. But we know that wouldn't happen because all you're talking about is accountability. That's all you're talking about, accountability. You know, I can come up with a whole, like I use myself personally, I can come up with a whole lot of reasons why certain things didn't work in life and all that. But I knew that it wouldn't do me no good because at the end of the day, it's my life. You know, early on, I didn't see it like that. I see like, hey, I can't stop. I just got to keep going. If it's bad, I got to make it good. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, you know, that was the mindset. So as people, man, if we can't have a conversation with ourselves, a true conversation, truthful conversation with ourselves, and tick off the things that we're unhappy about and address them, you know, systematically as we go in, so we can eliminate as much as possibly can. No one is going to do it for us.
Mm.
You know, it's our life. At the end of the day, it's our life. And like I said, then that transcends outwards to whoever around you, you know, and that spreads, you know. It's on us. Yeah, I know we didn't create certain systems. I know we can got no control over certain things. I get all of that, man. But that doesn't stop us from navigating. I know this is the roadblock. I'm gonna go around this way. You know what I mean? I know that then I gotta get low for this one. I gotta prepare for that one. You gotta think like that. You know, you got this is life, this is your life, and no one is gonna come and make your life better. They might assist, but they're not gonna assist with you just sitting down, not doing anything, blaming a thing, a system, or someone for you not being how you want your life to be. It's not gonna happen, man. I've been in this world long enough to know it's not gonna happen. And if they help you, they're looking for a hand or they're looking for something in return. So you got to get the ball rolling, man. You got to get the ball rolling. So,
and I think what happens a lot of times, especially when you said further as coming together to have that conversation, the problem with that conversation a lot of times is when people don't want to be accountable or responsible for their own outcome, then they will take their, like we said a little earlier on another video, they'll take their perspective or their opinion about something or their belief or their feelings about something, and they would try to push those things as facts. And so that's one of the hardest things, even in a couple's relationship. We have a problem as a people and as a couple. We don't know how to communicate with each other. A lot of times it always ends up in arguing because emotionally we think that our perspective or opinion is a fact. So it's so hard. And then a lot of times when you're having conversations with people, instead of accepting the truth, they don't want, how could I put it? They know that you're telling the truth, but they don't want to admit that you're telling the truth.
okay.
Yeah. So they'll constantly fight against it.
And that's okay because, like, at the end of the day, that's their life, though.
Absolutely.
That's their life. You know, if I can see some way, shape, or form, I can assist you and you pushing back because of what I'm bringing to you, then okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I'll move on. You know, that's your life, though. You know.
And you know, there it's a saying that common sense is not so common these days, you know, and then here goes a trigger word. So we have to always let people know you may get triggered when I say this, but I'm gonna go on and say it anyway because it's the truth. Once again, when someone is able to prove with evidence that the way you're looking at something is wrong, and they can prove it as a fact, and if you continue to push back and fight back against that, that's considered a lack of common sense. It's really considered a fool. So just something to think about. Don't get so emotionally riled up. Just kind of think about it. That's all. Because when you use these words, like I always say, fool, stupid, certain words, we have used them in a negative way of fighting or getting ready to throw down on each other. But we got to really pull out the definition and see that if someone calls you a fool, go pull up the definition of the word and see, do your behavior line up with that definition? Something to think about. But coach, I remember it was a time, literally, when I was growing up, I would always hear that it was the white man's fault. Coach, I'm finna, I'm getting ready to go there from my
I
experience.
came in, I heard about that too. Yeah, and to a certain degree, to a certain extent. Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
Okay.
Then, but now, no, man.
I always heard that, coach. Now, can you still hold the white man responsible for your condition, like you said, today? Today is what I want to talk about. So I want to ask this question because I'm always talking about that foundation. And if you can get that foundation in order, it'll change your life dealing with the mind, the body, the soul. And like I say, that's why we fall as a people, because we have a weak base, and anything without a base will fall. And that's what you see. You see us falling because we haven't got it yet, that our life umbrellas under these three areas. You can't leave from them. You either going to be doing well or sick physically, well or sick mentally, well or sick spiritually. And you got to learn how to connect them together. You got to learn how to connect them together. So I want to ask this question right here. Is it the white man's fault that you are overweight or obese? I just want to ask that right there.
Mm.
I just want to ask, is he the reason that you have the health issues that you have? Is he the reason for your bad decision making? I just want you to think about this right here. Is he the reason you haven't healed from the trauma you've experienced in your past and you won't get help from? Is that the white man's fault? Or you won't admit that something is wrong? Is that the white man's fault? Is that his fault? What about that unhealthy relationship you continue to stay in? Is that his fault? When you're drinking alcohol excessively and you are smoking and doing drugs and you haven't addressed the things that is trapped in your subconscious mind, is that the white man's fault? When you're constantly making bad financial decisions,
How about to add that? But you got it. You
is
got it. Yeah.
is that his fault?
Mhm. Wow. Yep.
When
That's
we
something.
is that I just want us to think we got to stop. Listen, coach, when we keep bringing children into the world that we are not
Mm.
ready to make the sacrifice of nurturing them until they become adults and stand together as a family, is that the white man's fault? I hope I get some comment for somebody to let me know.
I would be surprised if you do, man. I would be surprised if you do. I'm not knocking anybody. I would be surprised because you're asking people to question their decision making, question themselves. And a lot of people, man, a lot of people cannot handle that. I feel if they could, it would be moving differently. That's just my observation. They would be moving differently. Us on a large scale, black folks, we'll be moving differently.
Mm.
There's no way, come on, you can't tell me that. You know, when you start holding yourself accountable, you can't hold on to that, man, just for you. Folks gonna see that. Like, man, okay. Some gonna ask, some gonna use you as an example to make their life better. I'm telling you, you know. So I just can't see it, man. But I'll be surprised. I've been surprised before. So
I'm waiting to see, coach. Now that we know what happened in history, and we know that racism exists, we know history, we know racism. Are we going to use those things as an excuse when things are not going the way we want them to go? Something to think about.
I got a question that popped up too.
Yeah, bring it up.
Along the same line, in that, let me tag on to that now. For as long as we know that racism exists and still exists today, why didn't that push us closer together? Why did that open our eyes, our minds? Say, you know what? We can't do this by ourselves. We need to tighten up. We need to get together. Why isn't that pushing us closer together?
It seemed like it would.
Okay.
It seemed
Yeah,
like it
because
would.
I mean,
But you know, we are so divided to I don't see anytime soon us coming together for the positive. And I would love for someone or us as a group, some things I say I would love for to be shown wrong. I would love it. That's just like when I tell you this year right here, the Falcons ain't gonna do nothing. They not gonna do nothing. But coach, I would love for the Falcons to come back and prove me wrong.
That prove you wrong.
I would love for them to come back.
You ain't got to worry about that.
I would love for them to come back. So when I say us as a people, go ahead on, coach. Go ahead on. You got anything you want to say?
You might get a comment on that.
Hey, let me tell you something. I tell people all the time when they ask about the channel, I say, listen, one thing I know about y'all, if I want to show enough build this channel, all I got to do is put some shake your booty stuff up, put some sports up, put some entertainment up.
Yeah.
I know how to, I know how to make money and build this channel up, dealing with y'all. I know how to do that, but that's not the way I want to go. I want to find like-minded people. Where are we throughout the world for us to come together? Because that's going to be the only change that'll be made, that if we come together. But hell, the like-minded people are not even coming together. So that that pushes us even further away for things changing, and it makes it rough for our children to continue to come up behind certain generational things that they call the curse. If they just following uneducated on certain things. And so how can you teach your child certain things when hell you don't know? So that's why we got to wake up. What you got, Coach?
Not only that, man, not only that, they're bombarded with the ratchet. They're bombarded with the negative stuff. You know what I mean? There's no balance, you know. And I know, like I said, I know we're better than that.
Absolutely.
What's gonna bring it out? I have no idea. But I just know we're better than that.
We are definitely better than that.
I know we're better than that. I know that. But what's
better.
gonna bring it out of us? Man, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Yeah, so we're definitely better than that, but we won't do nothing. And that's sad right now. So I'm hoping that our children, like I always say, eventually will grab a hold to this information and lead a movement of change, because that's what we need. Because a lot of adults, they are locked in mentally and enslaved to a lot of different things that they cannot get away from. They can't get away from it, because a lot of them not trying to get away from it, because once your dopamine and serotonin begin to enjoy negative things, then that's what you enjoy. That's what you enjoy. So that's why you have to get those two chemicals running through your body to enjoy positive things. And that's, running, being conscious, begin to love yourself, begin to answer yourself, asking yourself why on so many different things that you're doing, and that your behavior is out of control. It's time to begin to ask yourself, why is my behavior this way? And begin to address it. And like I always say, what has happened to the Black community is that abnormal has become normal.
Normal, yeah. That's correct. That's correct, man.
So when we in the hood, and I'm talking to the kids, and gunfire, it's pop, 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 pop. I come from the, so I'm look, but no one is moving, no one is running. They like, it's just what happened.
Normal now.
It's normal. It's normal. So
it's not even 4th of July.
Not even 4th of July. So
and that's
and that's a fact. When I'm in the hood and gunfire go off or things go off, the kids that I deal with, they like, this the way it's supposed to be. This is it. And that's not normal. That's not normal. So that's a problem. And the same thing about us being not taking care of ourselves physically. It's just not normal, but we have made it normal. And I'm gonna pose this, and I may do this right here with Dr. D when she come on, and I mentioned it to her a little earlier about doing a show on Do Blacks Love Themselves, and there's a lack of
I love to hear what's her range? What's her age range?
I don't want to lie on the young lady, so Doc got to be maybe late 40s, if that.
Okay. I'm just curious about the a female's perception,
Yeah,
in
yeah, and
terms of what we're talking about. Yeah,
I,
yeah, that's why.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely want to get her on here. She's a
yeah,
smart
yeah,
young lady,
definitely.
and get her perspective and get her mindset on certain things. And so I just want to ask the family once again, who's to blame for where you are right now in your life? Who can you put it on? Who's to blame? If you're not living by principles, then who's to blame? If you don't have no discipline, no self-control, no tenacity, no, who's to blame for that? That's what I want to know.
Mm.
I want to know. I want to know
That'll
if
be interesting, man. That'll be real interesting to like I said, I wish we were in a forum where we could ask people straight
uh,
up, man. Just straight up answer. Straight up.
and
You know.
I'm sure eventually that will come to be where we will be able
Mhm.
to we'll grow it, because you got to think we coming from dry ground, planting that seed on something really that's different. So we
Yeah.
just got, yeah, we got to water it. We got to make it grow. We got to grow. And we'll grow to that point where we can bring a forum in, a group of people. We'll get it to that point. It's just a lot of work because of what we're doing.
Here's the thing though.
Tell it.
So we can have a forum on sports. We can have a forum on relationship. But like I always said, we talk just on my life. So we can't have a forum on life
Ain't that
because
something?
life encompasses all, those things also to a certain degree.
Absolutely.
So what are we doing?
Absolutely.
Come on, what are we doing, man? I
And it's so sad to see that we are not interested on the most important thing in our life. And that's our mind, our body, our soul. There is nothing in one's life that's more important. There's nothing. When you think about it, there's nothing more important. Your health, you lose it. That's your life. It's a wrap. Your mindset is everything. We're
mm-hmm.
dealing with mental illness, mental issues, and mental disorders that we're not addressing. And every day you just see it on display. That's what's happening. You see, when you see something crazy going on and what we're doing, you're seeing our mental health. It's just on display.
I get it though. And it just popped in my head. I get it. You're literally asking us to be naked, strip away all our possessions,
Mm.
right? That's what you're asking us to do. That's what we're talking about. Not your designer clothes, the house, your car, where you work, where you were educated, side of town you live. We're asking you to strip all of that away and just deal with you per se.
Mm.
You in the essence of who you are. Come on, man.
That's it.
That's a
I,
load for a whole lot of people, man.
that's it.
That's a load for a whole lot of people.
That's it. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
That's
Mm,
that's
mm,
that's that's a fact. That's what basically that is what we're asking. We're
mm.
asking to put beside the material things and deal with the immaterial things. That's
Mm,
that's what we're asking right there.
mm.
Because stuff make a lot of us. The most stuff we have, we think that makes us and put
Yep.
us on. Yeah, it makes us, and that's a problem. That's a problem that we're having. So today, coach, I would have to say, dealing with the mind, the body, the soul. If you're not doing well, unless something tragically has happened to you, then it's on you. It's on you. You're to blame for wherever you are right now. Because if you saying that whatever has affected you mentally, then you need to get help. You need to heal from it. It's not the white man no more, the job. I'm so sick of folks about to jump off the cliff because they talking about Trump. Is Trump your God?
Mm,
I'm so sick of folks talking
mm,
about is Trump did 4 years, you made it through it.
mm.
So you're gonna get so entangled with Trump going this and Trump going that. Is Trump your God? That's crazy. You are to blame for where you are right now in your life. And if you don't show yourself love, that's on you. You can't blame nobody. Everything I've named, you can't blame nobody if you're not in a good position today but you. And I'm going to tell you this right here. From looking at the homicide rate, talking about looking out for the white man, now you better be careful of the black man.
Today, the black woman too, they picking up slack. It's like, okay, they right along, man, with the brothers doing the foolishness, man.
You better look,
Yeah,
you better look out for your own folks because depending on what community you in,
yeah.
when that mental health comes out, and when you look to the left or right, in front of you or behind you, and it's just your own color standing there, then your own color gonna pay a price. So I just want to share today who are blacks to blame for the condition that they're in today. If you're in a bad or negative position in life, or if you're not doing well physically, like I said, unless something happened to you
To
tragically
you, yeah,
that you
yeah,
had
yeah.
no control over,
Troll over, yeah.
yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
most of us have control of our
True,
physical health.
true.
That's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
us. And then I'm gonna say this right here because we're gonna piggyback and do a show with Doc on this one here, and we're gonna talk about that self-love. Because I can guarantee you that if you put a million of us in a room right now, I can guarantee you, and you ask that million people of color, do you love yourself? I guarantee you, a million hands will go up. And if they put two
True.
hands up, 2 million hands will be up. But then I'm looking at this room of a million people where physically we are the sickest people. Mentally, we running neck and neck with a group of people. Spiritually, we are the most disconnected. How can you tell me that you have a strong liking for yourself? Because that's all love means at the top of the definition. Before we go out into the affection and all of this, we talking about you just having a strong liking for yourself. When we talking about self-love, how can you tell me that you love yourself and you're not taking care of yourself physically, mentally, or spiritually? You need to wake up. That's the problem we have. We need to wake up. You're unconscious. You need to wake up. Coach, I'm done. I can came to the conclusion. They can shoot me an email. There's my email address. Definitely make sure you go see the work we're doing with the children, man. That's our website. Go to our Facebook page and see the work we're doing. Once again, man, I thank Dr. D, man, for having me on. We had a great time. I'm gonna have her to come on, and that's the guest room. And you know what? I'm gonna let the fans know too a little bit about my daughter business, but we'll talk about that a little later. So for people who love candles and things like that, my daughter, she makes her own candles and air
Oh, okay.
fresheners. Absolutely, absolutely. And
Okay. I'm gonna
yeah,
have to holler, man.
yeah,
Shoot.
yeah,
I like
yeah.
a little fragrance. Yeah.
Coach, she got some great things. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna let her write me up a little something and start promoting
Yeah, yeah,
Joy,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Joya Aromas. And so we're gonna
Mm.
do that too as well because she got a great thing going. And Coach, I'm done. I would just leave it with each individual is responsible for where they are today. And I leave it right there. So if you're in a bad place, a negative place, here, you to blame for it. I'm done, Coach. You got 3 minutes.
I concur in that, man. I feel the same way. Like I said, barring that you had some tragedy that happened to you that really take you off your grind, take you out your lane, you know what I mean? And set you back, you know. You have choices, man. No one can take your choices from you. And even if you said there persuade you to make a choice, you still had to make that choice, you know. How do we gravitate the things? How do we spend on things that are not enhancing our life, man? How come we doing that? You know, everything you need to know or want to research is a click away. And even if you don't get all the information, you can click on something else and it will take you to where you need to go. So why are we still stuck where we are? It's our fault, man. And the only person to save you is you. That's it. You know, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, if you don't want to deal with that, then keep living the way you living. You know, can't say you didn't hear it though. I'm just saying, man. But we better than that. I know we better than that. But like I said, I don't know what's gonna bring that greatness out of us, man. You know, but we better than that. So do better, man. Do better. That's
All right,
my take, man.
Coach, I'm gonna leave it right there, and I'm gonna make sure during the course of this week, this challenge week, I'm gonna take heed to everything I just heard you say, and I'm gonna work to do better. So until we come together again, Coach, take care of yourself.
You just the same, man.